Eh bien, allons-y. Comment on aborde la reprise du top 14 après quasiment 2 mois de pause, que ce soit physiquement, est-ce que vous avez refait un peu une petite prépa et mentalement, est-ce que vous aviez complètement switché ou enfin comment ça se passe en fait, c'est inédit pour vous?
Non, on a refait une prépa, donc on a hâte de reprendre parce que c'est sympa de faire des cardio, de la muscu, mais ce qui nous manque le plus, c'est quand même le jeu. Donc on est très content de pouvoir rejouer tout simplement. Et ça commence par Bayonne ce week-end.
Justine pour l'équipe. J'aurais voulu savoir juste cette période du mondial, est-ce que même vous l'avez vécu au-delà du terrain, est-ce que vous avez suivi un peu ensemble des matchs, parcours de l'équipe de France, ou de manière générale, ou est-ce que vous
Oui,
étiez
ouais, on est resté supporters d'équipe de France jusqu'au bout. Et puis bon, on a tous été tristes de cette défaite en quart de finale de l'équipe de France. Mais ouais, on a partagé des bons moments ensemble où on a regardé des matchs. Mais voilà, maintenant on est content que la Coupe du Monde touche à sa fin pour qu'on puisse enfin, nous, jouer.
Est-ce que vous estimez après un 3 sur 3 que finalement, il y a ces 3 victoires, mais finalement on repart un peu à la case départ?
Ah oui, là, tout est remis en question. Là, on repart à zéro. C'était, on va dire, un autre championnat. Et là, voilà, on redémarre sur quelque chose de nouveau. Il y a tout le monde qui revient. Toutes les équipes sont à nouveau au complet. Donc ça va être un bon nouveau championnat.
C'était de l'impatience que vous ressentiez là vraiment ces derniers jours, on a vraiment envie de retrouver les matchs?
Ouais, ouais, on a vraiment hâte de reprendre la compétition parce que ouais, c'est assez frustrant voilà, de rester dans son canapé et de regarder les matchs. Et voilà, ce qui nous motive tous, pardon, c'est vraiment la compétition et jouer.
Qu'est-ce que vous avez retenu en termes de contenu des 3 premières journées? Des choses qui ont bien marché ou les choses qu'il faut maintenant améliorer?
Ce qu'il faut qu'on améliore, c'est nos disciplines. Déjà parce qu'on a pris pas mal de cartons sur ces 3 premières journées, donc on a fait un focus là-dessus. Et ce qui fonctionne bien, c'est notre conquête. Donc s'appuyer sur ça et continuer là-dessus.
Le jeu sera plus ambitieux, sans faire injure
Mmh.
aux années passées, mais
Mhm.
est-ce qu'il y a la volonté de développer le jeu, l'aspect offensif du Stade français?
Ouais, ouais, il y a cette volonté-là. On a profité justement de cette pause là pour travailler là-dessus et pas que s'appuyer sur notre mêlée, d'augmenter nos armes offensives. Et voilà, on a à cœur de mettre ça en place dimanche.
d'ailleurs le fait d'avoir une deuxième pré-saison, on va dire, est-ce que ça vous a permis en termes de temps de faire des choses que vous n'avez pas l'habitude de faire?
Ouais, on a fait beaucoup plus de watt bike, mais, non, mais sinon, non, non, on a travaillé les aspects qui sont un peu moins bons, là où on a pêché un peu, notamment sur l'attaque ou la liaison entre les avants et les trois quarts qui pêchait un peu. Donc on a profité de ça pour peaufiner ces petits réglages.
Est-ce que le décorum de Bayonne, Jean Daugé, l'Aviron vaincu l'année dernière, toute cette énergie qui
Mhm.
sera contre vous, est-ce que c'est un bon endroit pour redémarrer une saison qui sera compliquée, difficile, de tout de suite se jeter dans le bain comme ça?
Oui, c'est un très beau challenge qui nous attend. Il va y avoir une ambiance incroyable. On sait que Bayonne est invaincu, donc c'est motivant voilà, d'aller là-bas. Et de toute façon, on a tout à y gagner, on a rien à perdre, quoi. Donc on va profiter vraiment de cette ambiance-là et, euh, et faire le match qu'il faut.
Vous avez commencé à parler un petit peu de ce tunnel de match qui vous attend, qui va être assez inédit, une quinzaine de rencontres
Bah ouais, va pas falloir déconner un peu sur la récup parce que ça va être un long marathon. Et ouais, pour ça, on a profité justement de cette intersaison et de cette bonne prépa pour être prêt et enchaîner les matchs. Mais c'est vrai que ça va être costaud quand même, ces 15 matchs qui nous attendent.
Comment Karim et Laurent s'intègrent, on va dire, tranquillement au club, même si vous les aviez vus, si je ne dis pas de bêtises, peut-être déjà avant, lors de réunions, mais voilà, comment ils font pour doucement arriver et prendre leurs fonctions?
Là, ils sont venus cette semaine, on les a vus, ils interviennent un petit peu, mais pas plus que ça, on les voit, on arrive à discuter un peu avec eux, et les choses vont se mettre en place au fur et à mesure. Là, pour l'instant, ils laissent place au staff qui est en place depuis le début de la saison, et les choses vont se faire naturellement.
Ils sont plus dans l'observation, on va dire,
Ouais,
que
exactement, ouais.
découverte.
Exactement. Ils découvrent un peu les joueurs, le staff, comment on fonctionne, comment ça se passe ici, pour ensuite intervenir un peu plus.
Ouais, je te dis, il y a quand même des échanges et des renseignements, quoi. On est plus sur
Oui, bien sûr, ils étaient là dès lundi, hein.
Ok.
C'est bon?
Un petit mot sur
Oui.
Sekou, comment tu l'as trouvé pour son retour?
Ben, il est affûté, hein. On voit que la prépa a bien marché. Maintenant, on a hâte qu'il reprenne avec nous le plus tôt possible.
Comment on fait justement pour accueillir un joueur qui a vécu une déception comme ça? Est-ce que vous avez quand même un petit, enfin, envie d'être un peu plus proche de lui, entre guillemets, ou de le conforter?
Ouais, bah après, il n'y a pas que lui qui a subi des déceptions, même si les autres nations n'ont pas vécu les phases finales de Coupe du Monde. Mais je pense que c'est la compétition et le fait de rejouer, de retrouver les copains, et de changer d'air tout simplement, de retrouver Paris. Et voilà, tout simplement. C'est bon?
Une dernière question.
Ouais.
Sur la finale de Coupe du Monde.
Oui.
Je ne sais pas si on vous l'a posé avant, mais Nouvelle-Zélande, Afrique du Sud, en tant qu'amateur simplement de rugby, de voir cette énorme affiche, vous avez un penchant, un pronostic? Avec le mouillé, il n'y a pas de français.
Oui, c'est sûr. Ben, je préférais que la Nouvelle-Zélande gagne parce qu'il y a Jérémy qui est là. C'est pour ça. Surtout ça, je vais être pour la Nouvelle-Zélande.
Anglais, français?
Je préfère anglais. Oui, oui, je sais, on essaie français, mais je ne parle bien. Je comprends plus. Ouais.
What's your plan for the next 6 weeks with the top 14? Do you have any plan, any goal in terms of points?
No, just to win. Just to win. I think there's no. If we said we want to win a certain amount of points that isn't the maximum, then we accept defeat. So our mindset's not to accept defeat. Our mindset is to go to prepare to win and then play to win.
How do you want to play?
Efficiently, proactively. So we want to seize the opportunity that's presented. We want to be aggressive in defence. We want to be more effective in attack. And we want to make sure that our foundation of our set piece remains where it is.
How did you prepare the team with all the staff to come back to the championship after 2 months of break?
I mean, Pierre said we did a lot of watt bike. We didn't do as much as we did the first time round, but the idea was to try and break up the weeks that we had. So we had shorter weeks. We did shorter days. We had some team building events, a few beers, a few drinks, some activities with families, and I think we balanced it well. One thing. You laughing? No. One thing I think we learned with COVID, those dark days of COVID, is that sometimes you have to play lots of games in a row, and we now understand the 15 games in a row that we play. So it was important that we had some refreshment and some breaks in our training before we came into these runner games.
Can you tell us more about Joe Merchant? When will be available for Paris?
Yeah, so he'll join us a week on Monday. So I think that's the 11th, 12th, maybe the 12th of November. So 2 weeks time. So he has a week off after tonight's big game, and then he joins us. And Brad Weber joins us next week.
Will you put him on the lineup as soon as we're available, or any days to wait or to see?
Well, it'll not be my decision ultimately. I'll be part of it, but Laurent will obviously, Kareem will decide when Joe returns to play. But at the moment, we've got a very good 13 to my right here as well, and it's good that we've got two players, because Jeremy, Pierre, and Julian have played all the games for us. They have to share 80 minutes each all the time, so it's important that we have another body in that area with Stefan Navalu being injured. But he's a top class player and he plays two positions, so I'm sure the transition will be seamless.
How do you work with Laurent and Karim coming in the club? Do they talk a lot with the staff? How does it work?
Yeah, look, I think this week Laurent's Karim we've not seen so much, but Laurent's been here, but he's taken a back seat. He's observing. He's allowing things to remain as they are. He's given some input into selection, of course. Some ideas, but he's been very stand back, observing, watching the players, watching the staff operate, seeing where he can add some value, and then obviously in a week or two's time he'll take complete control.
And do you know if there will be some new things, like I don't know, training, or how the club will work?
Yeah. I think they're used to working together, Karim and Laurent, so they have an idea about what training looks like for them. There's a vision for the club to train with our CDF boys, the high performance of the CDF, and we've got to find a way to make sure that continues. We've done that all through the first two blocks. Now we have the demand players returning, we have injured players returning, so our squad's getting bigger. We only have one field at Jean-Bouin, we have one field at Stade Français, so we have to find a way that we can continue that development of our young players to make sure that the progression of Stade Français is big, and it's something that Laurent and Karim are very keen on. So I think in principle a lot of things will remain the same. The specifics of what we do will probably change a bit.
Is it difficult to leave the lead of the team after 3 victories for you?
No, not really. No, I mean, I knew the role when I took it. It was a privilege to lead a club of this stature. But I only lead from the back. It's the players that lead. It's the players that have to perform. It's the players that get banged around and make tackles and miss tackles and carry the ball and kick goals and all the rest of it. We sit having a Capri Sun in the stand and making sure things are facilitated to the best we can, so the players can be the best they can.
Did you have contact with English Federation?
I speak to them, but only because they're my friends. Yeah.
What can you tell us about Bayonne? It's really hard to win in Jean de Gé, so...
Well, I think statistically, obviously, they've been impressive at home. They're not the only top 14 team that are difficult to beat at home, of course. We narrowly lost last year. Unfortunately, we gave away a penalty in the last minute, and they managed to kick 3 points to take the victory away from us. But we have to be disciplined. We have to take the game to them. We have to challenge them. They've won 1 from 3, so it's their psychology will be about performance. Will be about beating Stade Français at home. Their next 2 games are important to them. And it's important for us to continue our momentum. We've got a very good team. I believe we're well prepared. Physically, we're well prepared. And if we go down there and play to the best of our ability, then we give ourselves a very good chance of getting the result that we want.
Is Sekou Bagalou available?
He is, but unfortunately he took a small knock, so we're just assessing him.
And how was it when he returned? Was he what I asked to Paul to PH? Was it hard for him to come back after the deception? How was he?
Well, I don't know if it was coincidence or not, but when he came back, there was also 200 people watching training with Sekou banners. So I think his welcome back was good. I think if you ask Sekou, and we did, is that he wants to come back, he wants to play. Obviously didn't get as many game minutes for France as he might have liked. This is his club. He's a very important member of our team, very important player for us as well, and it's great that he has the desire to come back and play for us as quickly as possible. Perfect. Merci tous. Perfect, Jeremy.
Voilà, you answered everything for me. Bonjour à tous. Bonjour.
Je suis la même comme Garcia. Bonjour. Qui veut commencer? S'il vous plaît.
Non, vas-y, je sais pas.
Je vais poser la question en français.
Ok, oui, oui, ok.
Juste si tu peux nous raconter comment tu as vécu cette rupture Coupe du Monde, comment ça s'est passé.
Asking about the World Cup. Yeah.
How did you break this
ouais,
6 weeks
ouais.
break?
Oui, on est très content avec les premiers 3 matches. We were really happy with how we went. Obviously, to win 3 from 3 was our goal, and the fact that meant that we ended up on top of the log was also really good for us. But while we won those games, we knew that there was a lot to work on. We knew that defensively we could be better. We knew that on attack we certainly could be better as well. So we attacked that break with a clear goal of what we wanted to improve on. And I think the way that Morgan and Gussie and the rest of the strength and conditioning staff facilitated that, I think has put us in really good stead approaching these next big block of games. We know what's coming is a really tough period, not just for us, but for all the teams in the top 14. A lot of rugby in a short space of time. And we know that there are no easy games in the top 14 either. So we knew that we'd have to be well prepared from a conditioning point of view, yes, but also from a Stade Français point of view. What does our game want to look like? What do we want to look like going forward on an attack point of view, on a defensive point of view, on a set piece point of view? And this break really gave us a good chance to iron that out and to find ourselves and where we want to be going.
What's your point of view about the potential
Mm.
of the backwards?
Mm.
Are you able to play more, to play well?
Rugby's a team game, and I think we all know that. We've got a group of forwards that are incredible at what they do. In the scrum, incredibly strong. In the line-out, attack and defensively, incredibly strong. And they've worked really, really hard this break on setting us a platform. And we know that if they do that, as a backline player and as attackers, as you just said, we just want to play what's in front of us. And should there be opportunities for us to attack, we'll certainly take those. Should the space not be there, we have a plan on how to counter that as well. So yeah, as a backline, we'll be looking for opportunities, but we're not trying to force anything as well. We know that when the opportunity is there, we have full license to take them. But also how we generate those opportunities is something we're working on as well.
Talking about Merchant,
Mhm.
coming in a
Yep.
few days.
Yep.
Do you think in the rugby nowadays, is it possible for you and him to play together at the same time?
I think, first off on Joe, I think he's had an incredible World Cup. I think he's slotted into that England team incredibly well. He's been a constant feature for them, incredibly consistent as well. So from a personal point of view, can't wait for him to arrive. Can't wait to gain knowledge from him and start working with him as well. I think he has a lot to offer this team. On whether we can play together, possibly. I've played 12 in my lifetime as well. Joe's played a lot on the wing as well for Harlequins and England as well. So there are possibilities there. But I mean, that decision's not up to me ultimately. It's up to those in charge. But should we get the opportunity to play together, it's one I'll certainly relish. It's an opportunity that I'll look forward to. And I suppose, like I said before, there's a lot of rugby coming up. So we've got 16 games back-to-back, 16 weekends of rugby. So I don't think we're going to be seeing the same team run out for Stade Français for the next 16 weeks. I think there will be a few changes. And if one of those changes allow me to play with Joe or play with Pierre or play with Julian, I'll be relishing those opportunities. So.
You have a one-to-one interview with Laurent?
Yes, I've spoken to Laurent. Obviously, I've spoken to him before the World Cup started, but also this week. And he's a coach that I think I'm really looking forward to working with. If you look at the way the French have been playing rugby over the last few years, it's a brand of rugby and it's a style of rugby that it gets people on their feet. People get excited. But that doesn't mean it's because they just throw the ball around. It's because they're really dominant in everything they do. Everyone knows where they need to be. Everyone knows how they need to play. The intensity in which they approach the French team has been approaching everything is immense. So how he brings that into Stade Français rugby is something I'm excited for. He's got an incredible rugby brain, and he's only been here for a week and in the background, but we've already realised the rugby brain that he has. So to gain knowledge and to dive into that, I'm really excited for that. No, I think I'll wait a few weeks and then start talking about that.
You see the Springboks during their journey here in France?
I've seen a few of the boys. Yeah, they've been really focused, as you can see. They've been really set on what they want to do this World Cup, and it's worked so far. And I think the entire rugby world is itching for Saturday evening. Yeah, it's a battle that it's probably not the battle that people expected to be in the final. I think especially in Europe, it's not the battle that people expected, but it's a rugby rivalry that we all know is immense. And on the day, those two teams, as we've seen during the World Cup, they can be the best. So I think it's going to be an awesome battle, and it's one that I can't wait to watch. I'll be wearing my Springbok jersey loud and proud amongst the French boys. Yeah, really excited for tomorrow night.
Can you explain us why it's so huge as a rivalry?
Mm.
During your childhood, it's Blacks versus Blacks.
Yeah.
How does it work when you were a kid in South Africa?
I think for me personally, I was born in 1996, so I was born into a rugby world where South Africa had just beaten the All Blacks in that 95 final. So you're born into a rivalry where that just starts, and through Super Rugby, through the Rugby Championship, through World Cups, it's just a battle that every time the Springboks take on the All Blacks, it's one that no one can really predict the outcome. I don't think there's ever been a game where someone can confidently say the Springboks are favourites or the All Blacks are favourites. You'll always have people arguing for both teams, and I think that's what makes it such a special rivalry. So hard to predict.
Are you surprised by the serenity they show during quarterfinal and semi-finals, to be very quiet, very calm, to know what they are going to do?
I think that's you're talking about the Springboks specifically. It's obviously I'm speaking as an outsider and not someone who's involved in the environment. But I think from my point of view, I think the Springboks are a team who are impeccably well coached. The way that Rassie and Jacques and the rest of the coaching staff work with them, I'm sure they plan for scenarios, they plan for situations, they plan for everything in the game. And I think it's a team where everyone's committed, everyone knows the goal, and everyone trusts that goal and how they're going to get there. The plans on to get there that have been coached into them, everyone believes in those 100%. So I think that's why from the outside, for me, it looks like there's so much control. It's just because everyone's so committed, everyone's so driven towards a single goal, and we've certainly getting there.
Super.